we have seen who all can become the trading members at NSE. Fine. These trading members can be of different entities. It can be an individual, it can be partnership, it can be corporates, it can be foreign entity, etc. Now we will try to see if these entities are accepted for becoming the trading member of NSE, but however they have to satisfy certain criteria. We have already seen how NSE takes care to ensure that they appoint eligible, capable, service oriented, financially sound trading members at NSE. So they have designed the criteria which is required to become the trading member. These are: 1, capital adequacy, that is the paid up capital of these entities who want to become the trading members. It is corporate structure, that is the shareholding pattern of that particular trading member group. Then net worth of these particular people who want to become the trading member. Interest free security deposits which we have to deposit at NS and as well as NSCCL. Then collateral security deposit which they have to submit at NSE as well as NSCCL. The track record of these people, the background of these people, then their education, their experience, etc. are taken into due consideration at the time of appointment of the trading members. This ensures the trading members are capable and are having inclination to provide proper service. This will enable quality services to the investors and also develop confidence on that particular exchange where the transactions can be fair and truthful and trustful. Let us try to discuss one by one in detail with respect to the criteria for becoming the trading members. The first is the corporate structure. What does corporate structure involve? It involves the shareholding pattern. The shareholding pattern can be of any form. However, only certain group of people in that particular corporate entity should be taken into consideration, should be given due importance. The primary point has been dominant promoter group, that is popularly known as DPG. Let us try to get into details of this dominant promoter group. First of all, why this is required? Because stock market are inherently volatile and risky. Hence, certain risk containment measures have to be taken into consideration. To ensure to control the risk and proper control of transactions with proper guarantees and securities, a risk containment measure has been done by way of dominant promoter group identification. This is a unique to all the clients acquiring the membership on the NSE. The shareholders holding majority of shares have a dominant role in the affairs of the company. Suppose a company is controlled by few individuals who are having proper control on the company, they are liable or they are answerable for all the acts and deeds of that particular company. So they have to identify that particular group who have a controlling interest in that particular group, so that tomorrow they are answerable and they are liable for any sort of actions that particular company takes. In case of any default by such a broking entity, the exchange should be able to identify and take action against the persons who are behind that particular company. The exchange therefore needs to know the background, the financial soundness and the integrity of these shareholders who are holding and having controlling interest on that particular company. Hence, during the admission process, the dominant shareholders are called for an interview with the membership recommendation company at the time of appointment or selection of the trading group for that particular trading membership. Dominant promoter norms are applicable to all the trading members. That is, if a trading member is an individual, is a partnership firm, or even a corporate, for everybody this dominant promoter group is a must to be identified at the time of application as well as at the time of issue of trading membership at NSE. The norms relating to this dominant promoters falls into different categories. Unlisted corporate trading members can become the trading member. So, a dominant promoter group has to be identified in that particular category of unlisted corporate trading member group. Listed corporate trading member. So, listed corporate trading members, who are these people? These are corporate groups which are having listing on the National Stock Exchange. So, a listed corporate member also can become the trading member of the exchange. So, proper dominant promoter group should be identified in this particular listed corporate member. Corporate shareholders, a company may be having shareholders who may not be only individuals, there may be corporates also. So, a corporate shareholder is a biggest shareholder in one particular company of their shareholding pattern. So, they are having a proper controlling interest among the company. So, a particular group behaving as a dominant promoter group will have to be identified in that particular trading member group. Banks, central or state government owned finance and development institutions, and finally foreign entities who are having subsidiaries in India can also become the trading member. Now, let us try to identify this particular shareholding pattern, or try to find out how to identify dominant promoter group in each individual entity. First of all, we will understand how a dominant promoter group can be identified in an unlisted corporate trading member. Unlisted corporate trading member is a company who is not listed on the stock exchange. Now, how to identify a dominant promoter group in this particular company? In case of an unlisted corporate trading member, three conditions under which the trading member will be eligible to constitute dominant promoter group. How a dominant promoter group in this entity can be selected? A dominant promoter group person of this particular corporate trading member is a person who holds 50% of the shares in the trading member corporate on his own or together with his relatives who are defined under Companies Act 1956, and persons falling within the definition of control under SEBI Substantial Acquisition of Shares and Takeovers Regulations 1997, or any person who is supporting this person to have a controlling stake on this company, may be through support of strategic investors in such corporate trading member. Now, who are the strategic investors in this particular company who can give support to this particular person who is having a controlling stake of 51% in the company? These strategic investors are those investors, they can be individuals, they can be corporates, that add value to the investments they make through industry and personal ties that can assist in raising additional capital, including financial ventures, venture capitalists, and others who invest primarily with the aim of generating large return on their investments. So, these are the three category of peoples who can support the main person who can command 51% shareholding or capacity on that particular company's activities. The second category of the corporate trading member is the listed corporate trading member. As we have already indicated, listed corporate trading member is a trading member who is already having a listing on the stock exchange. So, any company which is listed on the stock exchange would have already submitted documents in which he would have explained who is the promoter, who is having the better stakehold on that particular company. Those can be identified as dominant promoter group, or latest shareholding pattern which has been updated or submitted to the exchange in due course of their listing agreement. These people can be taken as the dominant promoter group from time to time. Now, let us see little more in detail. In case of listed corporate trading members, any person identified as promoters in the offer document or in any other document for offer of securities to the public or to the existing shareholders, or in the shareholding patterns that is disclosed by this particular corporate member under the provisions of the listing agreement, whichever comes later, would be eligible to constitute as dominant promoter group. So, these people are having a controlling stake. We consider these people are having controlling stake on this particular company. So, they will be considered as the dominant promoter group, which will be identified by the stock exchange at the time of appointment of the trading member. Corporate shareholders to be identified as dominant shareholders. Corporate shareholder is allowed to identify as dominant shareholders of a corporate trading member, provided the corporate shareholder identifies any person or persons as their dominant promoter group as per the aforesaid norms applicable to the corporate trading member. So, how a corporate trading member is being identified and a dominant promoter group is selected in that particular corporate trading member, the same will be applicable in this case also. The only point is, this particular company has a support from a corporate shareholder who are having a proper stake in this particular company. So, a person will be selected from this corporate shareholder group who will be part of this dominant promoter group in the present entity, who is submitting their application for the purpose of trading membership at the stock exchange. In case the dominant promoter group consists of more than one corporate shareholders, that means this particular companies who are having more than one are there in this particular entity, then the dominant promoter group should be identified separately for each such corporate shareholders. That means, if there are 2-3 corporate shareholders in a company, a dominant promoter group will be selected from each individual corporate shareholder group, and all these individual persons from individual corporate shareholders will form a part of the dominant promoter group. Banks, central or state government owned finance and or development institutions, these also can apply and become the trading member of the company or the exchange. The following entities are allowed to be identified as dominant shareholders, provided they have a net worth of at least 50 crores. This is a must. So, any bank or any central government entity, they can appoint a dominant shareholder, provided these people or these entities are having 50 crores of net worth. They can be scheduled banks, they can be central or state government owned finance and development institutions, any financial institutions registered and regulated by any regulatory authority such as SEBI, RBI and IRDA, any other institute or any other entity that is fit to be identified as dominant shareholder in the opinion of a relevant authority. So, these categories can become the trading member in NSE under banks, central or state government institutions. Now, coming to foreign entities. Entities which are having foreign origin and foreign registrations can also become the member in the stock exchange. How this can be done? A foreign entity can have a subsidiary in India, and through this subsidiary they can become the trading member of this particular exchange. Let us try to get into some more details of this particular category. Foreign entities are allowed to take trading membership of the exchange through their Indian subsidiary under the automatic approval route permitted by the government, subject to compliance with the following guidelines of the RBI in this particular regard. So, they have to follow certain regulations provided by RBI. The promoting foreign entity who is promoting this particular subsidiary should be either a bank or an insurance organization regulated by a central bank or any such other appropriate regulatory authority of that country. That means, if a company or a foreign entity who is having, let us say for example, US origin, any foreign entity, let us say for example, an entity from US wants to become the trading member in NSE, first they themselves should be belonging to a bank segment or an insurance segment which are under the control of a regulatory authority in that particular country. Such entities to India establish their subsidiary and become the trading member at NSE. Otherwise, what is the promoting foreign entity? Here the example, a US entity or its subsidiary should be a broking house or a participant in the securities market that is registered or regulated by relevant regulatory authority of that particular country, and that relevant authority who has registered this particular foreign entity in that country in turn should be a member of International Organization of Securities Commission. Such entity should have a strong track record. That means, a foreign entity like an insurance or some participant in the securities market should have been registered by a authority who is a part of International Organization of Securities Commission. In another way or some other way is, a promoting foreign entity is one whose domestic arm or a subsidiary is registered with SEBI for participation in any domestic venture for custodial or asset management services. That means, a subsidiary of such foreign entity are registered under SEBI for asset management purpose or for the purpose of custodial operations. The second point important in this particular foreign entity who wants to become the trading member of NSE. The promoting foreign entity should hold directly or indirectly not less than 51% controlling stake in the applicant company, that is the subsidiary company. They should have 51% shareholding or 50% stake in that subsidiary company proposing to take the trading membership of the exchange. That means, the Indian subsidiary of the foreign entity is applying for trading membership at NSE should have a controlling stake by the foreign entity to the extent of 51%. The net worth of this entity having controlling stake in the applicant company or the promoting foreign entity should be at least 50 crores. That means, the foreign entity should command a net worth of 50 crores. A foreign entity is allowed to become part of the dominant promoter group of an existing trading member corporate provided it meets the dominant promoter group norms as applicable to Indian securities, foreign investment promotion board norms, RBI norms and any other requirements of the exchange and SEBI as may be applicable from time to time. Corporate trading members will also be allowed to change their shareholding pattern. This is very essential because any company can keep on having a changes in their shareholding pattern or their operations. So, at the time of application, the structure might be different. Later, the structures can keep change. That is possible, but it is possible only by the prior permission of the exchange. Without the prior permission of exchange, the configuration of the shareholding pattern should not take any particular change. If it happens so, it will be considered as default by the exchange as well as SEBI. Let us try to go in little details about this particular shareholding pattern changes. Corporate trading members are allowed to change the shareholding pattern so long as such change is within the above norms and the existing dominant promoter group continues to hold controlling stake and prior approval from the exchange is obtained. That means the dominant promoter group should never lose their shareholding pattern, should not have reduced their interest or stake in that particular group, and this can be done of all such changes only by prior permission of the exchange. Once a DPG is identified during admission, the same has to be maintained at all times. Once a DPG group is identified, and if there is any change taking place, the trading member is required to seek fresh approval of the exchange, as it is done at the time of admission of new trading member, and rules relating to the same apply. That is, the dominant promoter group configuration changes or the dominant promoter group changes in that particular company and the group completely changes over. It cannot be done just like that. First of all, they have to take the permission, and since a major change is taking place in the dominant promoter group, exchange will consider this as a new group. Hence, a new procedure should be applied as if they are applying as a fresh applicant to NSE for trading membership. This is very important because exchange has given the permission as trading member to such entity based on clear identification of dominant promoter group. Since this dominant promoter group, who has been thoroughly analyzed and properly recommended by the recommendation committee, and such group is getting a changeover, cannot happen just like that. It has to be considered as a new entity or a new promoter group, which have to go for a fresh application as if a new member is applying to the stock exchange. Inter-se transfer of shareholding among the dominant promoters, however, will be exempt from the formalities as required in case of new trading membership. So, certain exemptions are provided at such application situations. Any changes in the shareholding require prior approval from the exchange, except in case of a shareholding changes related to public shareholding in a listed company. Failure to maintain the required level of shareholding by DPG is treated as a breach of the continuing membership norms, and it amounts to reconstruction of the trading members corporate. This is because existing DPG would no longer have controlling interest in the trading member corporate, or alternately a new group would have emerged with a controlling stake. In such case, exchange can initiate disciplinary action against withdrawal of trading facility of such trading members. These are the things how a DPG is concerned or considered, and then how a DPG should be maintained in all times. And any changes, for that a permission has to be taken from the exchange, or if DPG is changing over completely, then it will be considered as if it is a new application, and accordingly exchange will provide a fresh license to become a trading member of the NSE.